welcome back to Oz American Aces. And today we are down an integral part of our team. Renee is under the weather, so I have jumped in this chair, keeping it warm for her for now.
Will you give it back is the question.
We'll find out. We are coming to you. We are coming to you with this very special NRL show, and we do have one of New South Wales' finest players to ever be produced, Aaron Woods.
Oh wow! Jeez.
And also the King of Queensland, Brent Tate. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. Geez, they're big shoes to fill. Guards of shoes.
I
mate.
am sweating profusely under this New South Wales jumper. But it's good to see your face. Before we take you on Wednesday night, Game 2 in Perth. How are you feeling?
Mate, I'm pretty good, actually. I know Woodsy's upset my good mate, Gordy Tallis, during the week. So
good on you,
he's
Woodsy.
just upsetting every Queenslander at the moment. I don't know what's going on. But, mate, good. Like, it's game time this week. The talk is done. It's a big match for Queensland, mate. A lot of pressure on us, but anyway, we'll wait and see.
Tatey, one thing I did know with you Queensland blokes, mate, I did mention these comments last week. It was a Tuesday, I think it was, and it's taken them 5-6 days just to reply. Does you not get much reception up there?
Maybe it's Gordy's second head, mate. Maybe it's taking a while to compute. Mate, yeah, look, it has been a quite a build-up. I mean, this has been a pretty common theme, hasn't it, really? Yeah. What we've spoken about. But, mate, it's good to see you stirring the Queenslanders up and Gordy can't return and serve. Even though it did take 5 days, we did return some serve.
He had to get some advice from PR before he came back at you, mate. Obviously. Look, the build-up, like we were saying, it is very quiet. Woods is the only one chirping, which is really, really nice. But, look, there's been some changes with the Queensland team. How do you see him lining up? I mean, Carrigan on the bench?
Yeah, well, mate, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what Billy's doing here, to be honest. If there's going to be a couple of surprises or, we don't start with, obviously Paddy on the bench or, obviously there's a bit of talk around Harry Grant not starting as well. So, mate, there is a little bit up in the air around the Queensland team and how they're going to line up. It's going to be interesting to see what he does, Billy. So, one thing I do know about Billy is he does think things through to the nth degree. So he'll definitely have a plan on how he wants to play and who's going to start and who's not. So, yeah, mate, it's going to be interesting to see how they line up. I don't mind Paddy Carrigan on the bench. I do think he gives us a bit of leg speed and a bit of punch, after that 20-minute mark.
Tony, do you reckon there's a lot of talk, obviously, of Mo Fotuaika starting the game. He didn't get much, possession with the ball. Do you reckon they look to start with some size with Lindsay Collins starting the game from the get-go?
Yeah, I think so, Woodsy. I do think they'd start with someone like Lindsay. But the other thing is with Lindsay too, mate, is that, he hasn't played a hell of a lot of footy. So it does sort of soften the blow a little bit when you come off the bench. But, look, yeah, mate, it's just going to be interesting to see how they line up. I definitely think he's going to have to tinker with that forward pack, which he sort of has, I guess, bringing Capewell in. But, especially up front, whether Harry starts or, Paddy to the bench, it definitely is going to need to be tinkered with because we just didn't get it right in the first game. And New South Wales, as we know, come through the front door. So, mate, there's a lot of pressure on our Queensland forwards for this game because I think I said to you guys last week, even if this Queensland pack can just hold the New South Wales team and Harry Grant, Munster, KP have a night out, mate, they're going to be hard to stop. So, But it all depends, as you know, mate, games are won in the forwards, how our Queensland forward pack stands up.
There's also been a few changes on the edges. We've got a swap in Hammer and Val.
Well, that was one I'd love to ask you, Teddy. You've played wing and centre yourself. A lot of people go, it mustn't be too hard to play one or the other, but there's a big difference from playing wing to centre, isn't there?
Huge difference, mate. It's massive. Defensively is probably the biggest challenge. When you're playing centre, you're constantly making decisions on defensive reads, and you are on the wing as well. But a lot of the time, you've got numbers coming at you when you're playing in the centres, and it's a really difficult place to defend because more often than not, the decisions you're making on the edge are going to end up in a try or stopping a try. So, and then alternatively, a lot of your work when you play on the wing in Origin, mate, 80% of it is coming out of trouble doing the tough carries. So I was surprised to see that they did make that change. Hammer's not notably a tough ball carrier, especially coming out of trouble. I mean, he's wonderful with the ball in hand, but it's sort of not really his go. What I do suspect, mate, is I get the feeling that Val will probably defend in the centres, but attack on the wing. I think there'll probably be a swap, throughout the game, and that's how they'll line up. So I think we saw Hammer make a couple of pretty bad reads in the first game. So I think, put Val there who defends week in and week out, which will help. But then come attack, Hammer will be in the centres.
One thing I did notice, Billy Slater, last series, Lomax comes in, does a lot of work. Obviously, in the back end of the field, does nearly 20, 25 hit-ups a game. Queensland shifted in game one a couple of times to the right edge to Xavier Coates, and they almost stripped them. It was only luckily that I think Nanai or Toya didn't pass the ball. Do you reckon that they're going to look to shift early and try get Hammer in some open space on the outside of Lomax?
Mate, I think they've got to. I think, we've got to play to our strengths, and I think New South Wales have probably got a distinct advantage in the forward pack at the moment with their size and speed. So, one thing we do have to do is play to our strengths, and we've got a lot of guys in the outside backs that are quick, that are dangerous with the ball in their hands, and when they get the ball in their hands, more often than not, they create opportunities. So, mate, I definitely think there's going to be that opportunity for Queensland to shift early, shift coming out of trouble, and try and move this New South Wales pack around. Because as I said, I don't think we can go through the front door. We've got to play to our strengths, and that's getting those sort of guys with their ball in hand.
Do you think going into this game, having the pressure is probably better than sitting a bit more comfortable like New South Wales?
Mate, one thing I do know, it's really hard to win an Origin series with a clean sweep. And regardless of what you run through in your mind, if you win the first game, for some unknown reason, subconsciously or not, you're just not as desperate in that second game.
Very true.
You can talk yourself around it and you try to be as desperate as you can, but I don't know. I never played in a clean sweep, so I just always knew that second game, the intensity, it just wasn't where it should have been in that first or the third game. So that's if you win the first one. So, mate, they've just got to be better, Queensland, because, mate, we are up against it. We were in this position in 2006. We'd lost 4 series in a row. New South Wales are really dominant, and the tide's turning a little bit again. They are dominant, so it's a big game for us. So,
Tatey, one bloke that copped a little bit of criticism, which I think it scares me as a New South Welshman, is your new captain, Cameron Munster. We know that a type of player like Cameron Munster is the bigger the game, the better he plays. For a Queenslander, what are you looking for him to do this Wednesday night?
Mate, I just want Cam Munster to compete, and I want him to run the ball, Woodsy. I think I want Tommy Dearden to run the team, and I just want Cam Munster to take him on, mate. I think that's his greatest attribute, right, is when he's aggressive, he's running the ball, and he's pinballing across the defensive line, mate. That's when Cam Munster's at his best. So I hope that captaincy – I don't want him to lead by words. I don't want him to have to worry about, leading the team, by chatting too much and making sure the best thing for Cam Munster and the way he is going to lead is going to be by taking the game on, and that's through his running game. And, mate, if he does that, that's when the captain's knock will be good for him. The team will get on the back of Cam Munster doing that. So, for me, let Tommy run the team. Cam, you get the ball in your hand and take him on, mate. Take him head on, and if you do that, the boys will get on the back of it. So I think for him, it's a really good opportunity for him to take his game to another level now, and I think he probably needs it because I reckon the last couple of years I don't think he's been the Cam Munster we've known, especially around his running game. So I just want to see him get back to that.
Do you think the lead up to this game too, do you think Billy's overcomplicated his selections and his movement?
Look, mate, to be honest, there's a couple of selections there. You sort of scratch your head a little bit. But, look, as I said before, one thing I do know about Billy, mate, is he does have every scenario and he puts everything into context and he thinks things through. I'm sure they've got a plan. He is the coach. They've got Jonathan Thurston, Josh Hannay in there as well. That'd be bouncing things off and talking to him about how they want to play and the team they want to pick. So, I don't think this is all going to be on Bill, the team he's picked, but they've obviously got a plan, mate. And as a Queenslander, we're just going to get on the back of them and bloody ride them home.
Well, I think the biggest thing that Billy's got with his side, Tate, is that everyone wants to play for him, and that's a great attribute that you need to be as a coach. Tate, what do Queensland need to do, and where are they going to win this game?
Mate, it's a tough one. Like we've Perth's terrible record. But, mate, as I said, I think the formula is pretty easy. Mate, we've just got to match them in the forwards, and our spine have to have a night out. And, mate, we've got to get the ball into our weapons' hands, like KP, like Cam Munster, get the ball to Hammer. We did create some opportunities in that first game that, Origin's about moments, and you've got to nail them and you've got to take every opportunity, and we missed a couple. So, mate, that's what needs to happen. But I think Origin's not one on talent and never has been, mate. That's why the whole concept was born. So I think that's where, Queensland have got to dig deep and find that spirit, mate, and lift to the occasion.
They've really got to find some points in Perth. I mean, we've just about outscored you by 4-1 nearly. My maths is pretty bad. But let's just shift a little bit while we got you, Tatey. The Cowboys. Tough night out.
Oh, mate. Yeah, that was tough. That's probably. I've been commentating the Cowboys since I retired, and mate, I think that's probably one of the worst nights of sitting on the sideline having to commentate the Cowboys. It was not pretty to watch, mate. There's a fair bit of soul searching to go on there. I think, no doubt, you got guys missing that are Origin standard players, which doesn't help. But still, I think. Mate, what it was is a bit of a snapshot into where our depth is as a club, and it's probably, mate, it's not good enough at the moment. So that going to have to sort of really peel that back and have a good look at it. But yeah, not pretty to watch, mate. It was pretty awful.
I watched that game, and I thought you did great.
Thanks, mate, because it was a tough commentator, I can tell you.
You really
mate,
have
I love
together
the Dolphins.
there.
I'm a Dolphin junior. Mate, they are an impressive team. Their outside backs, like, mate, Herbie Farnworth is an unbelievable player. Asako's killing it. Katoa, Cody Nikorima, mate, he's just playing.
He was unbelievable.
He's playing as good as he's ever played, but he's just playing a role, and he's playing it perfectly outside of Katoa. He just lets Katoa do his thing, and he strengthens his running game. And, mate, he's nailing it at the moment. So, mate, they're a big chance of playing finals footy this year, it'd be huge for that club.
Tate, you got to give a huge rap for Christian Wolf as well. Like, they were 0-3 or 0-4 to start the year. We're wondering when will they, get their first win, where they get the points from. And you got to remember, they're doing this without Flegler, Saifidi, Tommy Gilbert. Like, they're three international players. Yeah, have you had much to do with Christian Wolf in your time, or have you heard much from him about up there?
Mate, he did coach at Blackhawks in Townsville, which was the reserve grade side when I was here, and they had great raps on him then. Mate, the other thing you got to remember at the start of the year, I mean, they were that cyclone affected as well. So, there's probably a couple of games in there that, really would have affected their performances. So, and the other thing that he's done that, let's be honest, no other coach has been able to do is have a successful season after Wayne Bennett's left.
True.
So, mate, he's doing a wonderful job with them, and they all, you can just see they love him and they're playing for him. Mate, they've got plenty of talent, and they're just, they've got this production line. They're a bit like the Bronx in a way. They've just got these young kids that are coming through that are just talented, mate, and they're stepping up to the plate. It's good to see.
They're one of the most exciting teams to watch at the moment. Like, I was just in awe with just the way that Katoa just plays. Like, I mean, who was it? A couple of dummies were thrown there from Nikorima, which just about would have fooled most of Queensland. And then got it on the outside, and they were just unstoppable. I think Bostock dropped his fifth at a fifth try. Like, where did this guy come from?
Yeah, mate, they were really good to watch, mate. Their outside backs are as good as any. And, I know we talk about Katoa, and everyone's waxing lyrical about him at the moment, and so they should. But honestly, Woodsy, just watching him live, mate, I reckon you and I would be outstanding fullbacks playing outside of him. He's just given their outside men so much time and space. He is just the way he tempos his run. Like, just to watch him live, mate, it was incredible. He's a hell of a player, and no doubt the Dolphins will be keeping him long term because if they do, mate, they're going to be a really good club moving forward for a long time.
I'll tell you what, Tate, I was really surprised I didn't see him in the extended squad for New South Wales, just to go in there, get a little bit of experience. Because, mate, he's only 21. Like, the kid's a freak. And, you know, he was in the system behind Nathan Cleary, but to see him at that level. What about the Titans, Tatey? They finally got a win. They got the monkey off their back. And now the pressure's on Manly after that one.
I don't want to talk about
Mate, for all money, like, I don't know too many people that would have, outside of the diehard Titan supporters, that would have picked them. I certainly didn't. Mate, they were brilliant. They've got mate. I just wonder what happens there, mate. You know, they've got Keanu Kinney to come back. Yep. You know, AJ Brimson, his best position in my eyes is fullback, but then you've got, you know, Keanu. I just wonder what they do with the makeup of that side. But mate, they were awesome and good to see. Like, I really like the Titans. I love watching them play when they're in that sort of mood. But they just obviously need to find some consistency in their performances. But it's just interesting where they go with their recruitment, mate, around, you know, AJ, Keanu Kinney, you know, got Jaden Campbell there as well, who's, you know, trying to be a half. So, yeah, it'd be an interesting watch, mate. But poor old Manly, far out. They weren't great.
Yeah, we definitely made them look very, very, very good. We were terrible. So just another week being a Manly supporter, I guess. Tatey, as always, mate, we appreciate your time. Thank you for jumping on today. And
boys,
up the Blues.
I cannot wait for next week. A Queensland victory. I'm going to come on here gloating. I might even have the maroon wig, and it's going to be game 3 decider.
I hope not.
I please wear the maroon wig regardless. That'd be great.
Thanks,
Go Maroons.
Thank you, mate.
Boys.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it.
Good luck, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks, boys. Have a good day.
You heading out there?
Nah, I'm not.
Too far, eh?
Too far.
Watching it from home, mate. Yeah.
It's the worst flight home. That's the problem.
Rank.
It is, mate. Yeah, dog shit. Anyway,
thanks, Tatey.
See you, mate.
Appreciate it, brother.
Take it easy.
See you, mate.
Woodsy, before we get into New South Wales,
Go on, Blues. Come on, Blues.
Let's just touch on the last couple of games we didn't touch on with Tatey. What did you like? What did you not like?
Oh, look, the Dragons, I thought they fought hard, fought really well. It was 18-6 at half time, but then whatever Craig Fitzgibbons did at half time, he gave them a massive rocket, and they just went straight through the front door, and there was a different shark side for that second 40. They were very impressive. Yeah, so
that's how they should be playing every week.
No, they should.
I think they've got that in them, and like I said last week, where it was like it was good for them to get beaten at home like that, but to bounce back that's how they should be playing.
Oh, that's how they should be playing. Obviously, a high, but a low for us. A high for the Gold Coast. They got their win, 28-8, and that probably should have been more. Manly were poor. It was hard night at the office, wasn't it?
There's a few things there that jump out, like them in the line of defence. They just seem to jump out. Against the Titans, I don't think it was needed. I thought, like, let's look for some consistency. We can't win games back to back or whatever. We seem to be able to lose games back to back. Jason Saab's turning circles a bit like Dom Young. I just felt like there's so many improvements. There's so many things they need to work on. Thank God they've got a week off because I couldn't handle another week.
Yeah, it's come at a good time, the bye, to refresh them up. But you know what I felt really sorry for? Was the Newcastle Knights. To get beat 12-8 by the Roosters. And that try, some people said try to Siwa Wong. Some people say no. It was an unlucky way to lose.
I think a couple of years ago, it's not a try. I think this year it's a try. There's downward pressure. It was simultaneous.
But do you think it flicked the finger as it was going down and there's a little bit of separation?
We don't have the technology.
Because I'll tell you what, and hopefully we can show a clip on our socials, is that a couple of weeks ago, Katoni Staggs scores a try. The ball comes free, but then he gets it down. They gave it a try.
Yeah.
Hamoli Olakwatu the other night gets the ball down, but it's sort of very similar to Katoni Staggs, but went up and they gave it no try.
It's because it's Manly, mate.
It's because it's the bunker. And they've got no idea.
Yeah, for sure.
They're just guessing.
It is a shame. I thought they were grinding Newcastle, and that sort of took the wind out of their sails. Like, yes, they've been halted on points in that period of the game, but I think that just took it out of them, and it just took all
deflated them, didn't it? Their effort's there, but they just can't. Like, they're defensively, they're up there with the top 8 sides. It's just they've got no points in them. And what about the game yesterday afternoon? Sitting there on my couch, and the next thing you know, you see the players walk off the field.
I was in the car on the way out to Homebush, and they were on the call. Triple M, they were saying, "Oh, we're going to have it's going to suspend 29 minutes." it was carnage out there though.
I've actually got a photo that I want to put up on this social media page for us, right?
Yeah.
It's the referee getting walked off the field with 2 umbrellas. And this referee is Adam G. All he's worried about is spray tan sort of fading off. Unbelievable, mate. You got a game of rugby league and all you're worried about is your fake tan coming off.
I know. It was funny to watch the players all sort of have to run off and then a couple of umbrellas come out.
He had 3 umbrellas around him.
It's terrible in a lightning storm. Maybe they were trying to...
Let's just say it was brought to attention to me by a friend of this show in one Shane Flanagan might have sent me a picture. So thank you, Flano, and Mr. G, he suntans down at the South Cronulla Beach.
There you go.
And his dick stickers, but...
I thought, look, there was a lot of toss-up of what they should do because they came back for 8 minutes. And let me ask you this. If you were on the field then and you've been asked to go off, I mean, you've got to do what you got to do for the safety of yourself and the players. But then you've got to warm up again, come back out, warm up, stay warm during that halftime. I know they reduced it slightly. Didn't really help that they went to video refs and stuff like that for a try.
I know.
How does it make you feel?
Well, if I'm South Sydney, I just want to get out as quick as possible because we're down 18-0. And that's what happened. They got a try. It's part of the job, man. Like, it's part of the business. We got to play. You're required for an 80-minute game, whether you play that 9 minutes, hold off for another normal break, come back out again. Professional athletes, you've got high-performance people there. Where you do your high knees, your bum kicks, you get on the spin bikes, you just keep yourself going.
It doesn't take long to get you.
That is the favourite part of your week as rugby league players playing the game.
Yeah.
So however long they play it for, good as gold. I'd rather do that than train all week.
Yeah, I thought the Bunnies needed that. It was a bit of a call.
It was, and they come out and Alex Johnson gets that try right on half time.
Yeah, a couple of penalties up the field, and that was a bit of a controversial one too, with a double knock on. And
I wasn't sure about that one.
I think that it pointing to the spot makes a big deal when it goes up there.
It's the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely,
because you need to find an exact angle of where to take the try away.
Yeah, so let's lead that straight into Origin with there was an injury.
Yes, I think it was the 19th man, Keon Kolomatangi. He didn't finish the game. He had a fractured eye socket, so it's ruled him out of that. I don't think he can fly with that as well. I think he's looking at minimum 5 weeks. That's a huge loss for South Sydney because he's been outstanding for them. And a lot of people, we all thought Terrell May would be called in. No, they've gone with Jacob Preston, who's been outstanding for the Bulldogs.
Great,
I think came up with that big tackle at the end of the game on Jamie Humphries to win him the game. But... yeah, so Jacob Preston, he's on the flight. If not, he's already in Perth right now.
Is this his first time in camp?
I think he was in camp when he was suspended, when a lot of people thought Adam Dewey was part of the squad, which they come in just to create some extra numbers. So but this is his first time in an actual jersey number in the squad.
As 19th man.
Yeah, and it's well-deserved. Like, this young man's worked so hard. He's been one of the big reasons why the Bulldogs have surged up the ladder, and, he copped that 4-week suspension for the crusher, I think it was, which was outrageous.
Yeah.
But good to see him back on the field and just took off where he freaking left off.
Let's continue with the team. Bit of drama last week. Our mate Moses.
Oh, Mitchell.
He's calf muscle, I believe, saying 6 weeks.
Have you seen his legs?
They're tiny, aren't they?
How do you do a calf with those legs?
He doesn't have any calves.
Tell me about it.
I've seen bigger legs on a seagull.
I've got bigger calves than him. Disgraceful, Mitchie.
And then there was the controversy between, okay, well, you've got an 18th man. It doesn't necessarily mean he's the next guy in. They've flown Luai, who I think you don't lose much there. I think Queensland have just got to adjust their game to him.
Mate, I'm happy with Luai to be 5. I know it's a. I really feel sorry for Matt Burton, and he played his probably best game leading into that as well. The week prior,
he was outstanding
against Parramatta. He was unbelievable. But Luai was there last year, and he's done that. He was hard done by not to make the squad. It's just unlucky that you had once in a lifetime player Nathan Cleary and Mitchell Moses playing some great footy. Well deserved for Jerome Luai. He had his best game the week leading to as well. I think that was against Penrith Panthers. He had some huge reads, and I think this will be great for him because he's been playing halfback at West Tigers level, which isn't his properly preferred position. Whereas now, Nathan's going to be the chief. He's going to steer everyone around. And this is where Luai plays his best. He's going to be that annoying, just step back under the ruck, use Angus Crichton. He has that great combination with him. And he's going to ruffle a few feathers in defensively, which I'm really excited about this.
The last game last year, he hopped, skipped, and jumped his way.
He won us the game.
Yeah, no, he was arguably one of the best players that we had. And I think everyone talking about 18th man, I think it's a huge compliment to Burton that he can be 18th man because they have trust that he can play anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And Luai doesn't have that. So if you would have,
Still gets his 30K.
yeah, it's not about the money, but I think it's a compliment that you could put him anywhere if someone goes down. With Luai, I don't think he has the same skill.
I'm with you. Like Burton can play centre, can play lock, 5'8", half, maybe even wing and fullback because he's got that big body. If something does happen, probably the only position he can't play is probably front row and hooker.
Yeah,
you'll put him at hooker, but it's just different than what he's used to. Luai he's a half. He's a halfback or a 5'8". So I just think Luai deserved it. He's been playing better footy now at the Tigers. He was just they didn't go too well on the ladder, so that Mitchell Moses sort of got pipped in the end. So it's a tough one, but now he's got his opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And we had some injury clouds with To'o. He's been cleared.
All cleared. Got through the session on Saturday. They've got their last big one today, and then on Tuesday it's like a 15-minute just walk through, visualization. Get ready for the big one Wednesday night.
As an ex-Origin player, what are your thoughts on the walkthrough? You're walking through Perth. I mean, did it give you anything? Do you think?
It was different when we used to play. It was so you'd have the game on Wednesday. Tuesday would be your captain's run, and Monday would be off. Sunday would be your huge session. And then whether you were playing in Queensland or Perth, you'd fly the Sunday.
Yeah.
Now it's the opposite. I think they have this a big session on Saturday. They get to go home to their families, come back into camp on Sunday. I think they travel. Monday is their biggish day, where I think today they were having a training run against half an AFL side, West Coast Eagles, and half the Western Force, just like a 10, 15-minute run just to keep the high intensity up. And then tomorrow they completely do nothing. Like they just walk through. I don't even think they put boots on.
Yeah, okay.
It's the new way that the high performers see things. Penrith Panthers have been doing it for a long time.
It's like a rest day, right?
It is like a rest day, yeah. You have your bigger one 2 days prior than the one before. You just get the body moving. So for me, I always like the captain's run. Yeah, it's the best session of the week.
And do they, in those camps, do they control what you're consuming in terms of eating and drinking?
Oh, yeah, unless you're Brian Toto. Haven't you heard about that? There's like 6 Coke Zeros.
Seems to work.
2 breakfast, what is it, bacon egg rolls.
Was it a caramel latte with
caramel
2 sugars?
latte.
Sounds bloody good,
big
actually.
Bowl of chips. I tried it on game one, and it was beautiful, but I'm no way in the world I could run after that. I'll be rolling.
He's a wrecking ball too, isn't he?
Mate, he went out there and ran for 200 metres, and he had 10 minutes in the sin bin.
That's wild.
The bloke is a freak. But, you are watched. Like, you got the best of the best. Like, New South Wales Rugby League, they cover everything. Your hotel, you've got veggies, you've got fruit. Like, you're whatever you want, pastas, whatever. They cater to what the players' preparations are.
What are your thoughts on this media ban? I mean, we talk about the hype. Last week, you're the only one who really got it going. It took Queensland 5 days to come back to you. I think Corey Parker tried to come back to you with a like-for-like situation that was absolutely ludicrous. And then you've got your mate Gordy who came back to you. But the media ban, do you think it's hindering the game?
My biggest thing growing up was I loved the hatred between the two states. And this is like... People go to me, do I hate Billy? No, I don't. I hate him for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to stir the pot. We've got to have a build-up. It's like going to a boxing match. It's like going to Paul Gallen versus Sonny Bill Williams. They haven't said a word to each other for the whole 6-week build-up, and then we get there. Yeah. You're not really anticipating anything.
You got to build the narrative out, I think.
Sonny's already come out and said he's a drug cheat, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Gal's fired back and said, mate, you got some demons in your closet. Now everyone's like, oh, this is getting spicy.
It sells tickets,
It sells tickets. And for me... Mate, I need a New South Wales Origin win game 2. Otherwise, I am going to be copying it from the 2 heads up north.
Yeah.
Whereas if we win, then we could have a little bit of fun with it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but I just think people that take it personal they just get so rattled, bro.
They took it personally.
They do take it personally. Because you have a
did.
shot at their coach. Like, wow, who cares? Like, you called Spencer Leniu a grub in the paper.
You had a shot at not just their coach, arguably one of the golden boys of Queensland throughout his whole career. Yes, he's done some grubby things. Now he's a coach and
We've all done grubby things.
Holistic. What are your thoughts on a potential UFC style press conference?
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love for him, you get the 2 front rowers near each other. Captains, media managers.
It sells tickets, mate.
They want to make money.
Like I grew up hating Brent Tate.
Oh, mate.
And now I love looking at him every...
I was the same. So I got to bump into him last weekend at Fox League. And I was like, You're a good bloke, Tatey. Love you. Same as Justin Hodges.
Yeah.
Will Chambers. Blokes I grew up with saying, mate, they are grubs.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're not grubs. They're just, what would you say? They're competitive athletes, and they're very good at their job.
And that was the thing with the narrative of, like, we grew up similar era. Yes, you got to play. I didn't get to play. I wasn't quite athletic. I'm ready to play just in case I get called in.
You're looking better than when I played.
But that was the thing, the build-up, the hate, the whole thing. It got you fired up.
Mate,
on
the
a
best thing was
Wednesday
when we
night.
played, like, and look, I'll tell you, I did not get paid to build this up. Poor Gallen did. And, mate, the one he did, he called him two heads.
Smart.
And they made drink bottles of it up in Queensland. It was one of the best things that I've been part of. It was such a cool build-up, and, you know, they're worried about everything else except for playing a game of footy. Like, it was awesome to be a part of.
And, like, for us to take the game to Perth with minimal build-up, it's not doing it any favours. And for us in New South Wales and Queensland too, it's very quiet.
But I also think it's hard, too, for players this day and age, Ash. It's like
Cancel culture.
you say one thing, the social media just imagine Latrell Mitchell comes out and says Billy's a grub.
Oh, yeah.
They'd want to get rid of Latrell.
Yeah. It's bad for media.
Oh,
but-
stop it, man. That's why I come out trying to help the players. Let's get a little bit of a build-up. Didn't think it would go as far as it did. Hook, line, and sinker. We've got a few Queenslanders, a couple of two heads on the edge of the bait. And then next thing you know, we're still talking about it. Mate, they still raffling off on a Sunday, and I said it on a Tuesday.
And it'd be interesting to see about it this week. I mean, I'm hoping that we, get the win. It'd be nice, but not
mate.
just for the win, but to see it all unfold afterwards.
Well, I've got a bet with Carl Stefanovic.
I saw that.
I've met him once in Las Vegas, and what a champion he was.
Is it a nudie run?
It's a nudie run.
And I heard he's pretty nervous, isn't he?
He's going to get his little chipolata out if they
He's
lose.
I heard he's hung like a cashew.
Oh, is he? Wow. I can't wait to see it.
Let's go into the matchup with Latrell and it'd be his second game. How do you pronounce that?
Rob Toya.
Toya. That's it. I don't think he handled Latrell amazing.
I thought he did a good job early on with the ball in hand. He got around Latrell a couple of times, but Latrell's so good defensively that he covered it up easy. I thought Latrell was a little bit off with ball in hand. Just a couple of little errors. We need to find a better way to bring Latrell into the game. I think we used him as a battering ram, which we know that's probably not his best strength when you got To'o outside of him. The one try they scored Queensland come off a drop ball by Latrell. I think if they can figure out a way to bring him in, like you see Nathan Cleary likes to drop players under a lot. Imagine Latrell dropping under. He's so strong. It's
reckless.
Oh, it's annoying when you got one-on-one with him because he'll do it easy. He'll just go tink, see you later, find a front or get an offload. So that's a big part. But then Rob Toya, he's only 19 or 20.
Oh, yeah.
He's a kid. And I thought he did a great job.
He was great.
And a couple of opportunities that maybe if he had a pass to Coates on the outside, they could have come up with something. But that's what you live and you learn. And, he's got that opportunity to do it again.
I'm glad they stuck with him, actually.
Yeah, same.
I mean, the Queensland, they harped on about pick and stick for years. They don't really...
I'll tell you what, with this pick and stick, right? The biggest thing with the pick and stick is they did it over that period where they won 8 Origins series in a row. Look at the side. Of course you're going to pick and stick with that side.
They're all immortals, aren't
That's
they?
what I'm saying. But now the gap's getting closer.
They're going to have to.
You just can't pick and stick. And that's what's happened. They've had to make changes. And do they think they made the right change? I don't think so. But yeah.
I think they've shot themselves in the foot a little bit here with harping on about all the pick and stick, that if they make any changes, then people are like, what about pick and stick? So there's a few players in that team that I don't think are in form that should be there. Like they've dropped a debutant in Fairmont, and he played against us Manly the other night, and he was unbelievable.
Yeah, I thought Bo Fermor was hard done by. Look, there's other players in that forward pack you probably looked at, but yeah, I think they used him wrong. He only played like 10 or 15 minutes. I would have started with him in the back row. It was a funny one. And Jeremiah Nenai I thought he was their best player for Queensland. Now he's on the bench. But I think there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors with this side. I personally think Kurt Mann will start at 9.
Yeah.
They'll bring Harry Grant off the bench. You've seen his record. He's 0-6 from starting Harry Grant.
Yeah.
What do they do? Do they bring Carrigan to start? I'm not too sure. Does Lindsay Collins start up front? We mentioned it with Tatey earlier. They just need some big bodies because that pack of New South Wales is good. And then you got the outside backs who are even bigger.
Payne Haas, unbelievable.
They just need to work hard on Payne Haas because Payne Haas, they were allowing Payne Haas to skip overs, which is sort of run across fields a bit. And he was able to get it, Harry Grant. He was able to get it, Munster and Cherry Evans. And
it's a great footwork for a big fella.
I think the markers for Queensland will be working so much harder this game. It was something that Billy Slater would have picked up from game 1. And yeah, I think there's going to be some. It'll be a big difference. I don't think people think New South Wales is going to flog them. I think it's going to be a very tight game.
I hope we flog them, but yeah.
I'd love to see a flogging.
Before we get into would you back it, well, let's just touch on Max King getting promoted to starting because of. I mean, it's a shame we see Barnett out for the season, which for the game, he's one of those guys that he's such an aggressor. He sort of throws the team on his back a little bit there.
He's one of my first pick in our forward pack. I know you got likes of Payne Haas, but I just love what he does defensively. He goes looking for the collision. He took the first hit up of the game, just throws his body into it. He's a bit bigger body than you think when you see him on TV. Really shattered for Mitchy Boy to get ACL. But you know what? Max King, he was outstanding. He got a good 40 minutes off the bench. And the other front row that plays with Payne Haas doesn't genuinely need to be a bloke that's going to get over the advantage on him and, make line breaks, whatever. You got Payne Haas there. You've got Zach Lomax. You got Toto. You got Dylan Edwards. We want that other front row to go after the collision defensively. And I think that's where Max King's been outstanding for the Bulldogs this year. Defensively works his backside off. And that's the system in the Bulldogs. So I think he'll fit in well. And Stefano comes on the bench, who's a big body.
He's a big body.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go into, we usually do would you back it with the week's round, but let's go into a bit of an origin would you back it. Thanks to StatMate, a couple of stats here. Woodsy, Zach Lomax scored a try in 3 of 4 origin matches.
He's on fire, Zach Lomax. He's got quite a few tries already. You've seen him on the weekend, and 2 of those are doubles.
Yeah, there's 2 doubles in there. I got 1. So first game, he on debut, 1 try. Second game, 2 tries. He missed out in the third game, and then in the fourth game, he scored 2.
So it's the way we play. That Steve Crichton's that edge. Like, I always thought, Steve Crichton, but would I go Steve Crichton for a try or set him Zach Lomax up? Because
he's going to set
what he did in that first game when he got that opportunity, he just summed it up perfectly. He could have passed straight away to Lomax. Would have been a real hard effort to get in a try, but he took off about 10, 15 metres. Valentine Holmes ends up getting sucked in. The fullback Ponga comes towards him, and then he just hits Zach Lomax, who's untouched on the outside.
He draws so many defenders because of how dangerous he is. He throws that ball in. It's a little bit like Sonny Bill in that one hand, and you just don't know what he's going to do. It's not there's nothing textbook about him, and then he just somehow
did it a couple of weeks ago against Canberra. And he's just holding the ball like it was a little apple, and he just went.
But it's the arm itself is just like, what's the ball doing?
When I went into Origin camp, because I shook his hand last year, and I was like, geez, that's a big hand. So this to tell you, I wanted to shake his hand again, mate. His hand, like, it smothered mine. It was like, unbelievable, bro. Big miss. He's got a great rig too, just quietly. Real perfect shoulders. If you're going to design a rig, he's probably the best prototype. But my same game multi for this one. This is a tough one. Would you back it? Look, with the stat, mate, you can't go past Zach Lomax. I'm going to go Zach Lomax for a try. I'm going to go Brian Toto because he scored 3 of his last 5 tries. 3 tries in his last 5 origins. And he scored 1 in Perth last time as well. Right. So that could be a good omen. And I'm going to go New South Wales head-to-head.
Okay.
So only a 3-legger. I get nervous with these big games.
Yeah, I'm gonna back you with that 3-legger, but I'm gonna throw in Angus Crichton.
Ooh, for a bit more value.
Bit more value from me. I think if he runs the right line through there, and the markers are tired, if we're anywhere near the line, I think there's a good chance he might just sneak over.
Ooh, look out.
So both those bets, thanks to PointsBet and StatMate for all of that. Now, before we finish up, Woodsy, let's just run through the games that are coming up this weekend. It's not a full round. We've got 3 buys still, but there is more footy, which is good. 5 games on a weekend's not enough for me, mate.
Oh, mate, I wish there was 25 games. There's not enough, mate. It was outstanding. I got to watch Reserve Grade. It was on Fox finally on the weekend. I went out and watched a game at Lidcombe Oval. Not Blacktown anymore. Manly versus West Magpies. How good's rugby league?
And we've got the women's coming up soon.
Cannot wait.
Well.
Hurry up and start. The NRLW is sensational. They just started pre-season. The women will be ready to rock and roll.
Let's run through what you think this week coming up. Let's go Friday night. We've got West Tigers and the Raiders.
This is a hard one. It's at Campbelltown Stadium. The big thing for me is, do you back Jerome Luai up after playing 80 minutes on a Wednesday and they play a Friday? They got to travel from Perth.
Yep.
Yes, I do back him up because we need to win.
He's got that dog in him.
He's got that dog in him. Raiders have had a good record over the Tigers as of late, but you know what? I'm going to go for an upset. There's been so many upsets as of late. West Tigers to beat the Raiders.
Is it Leichhardt, is it?
It's at Campbelltown. And you know what? Ricky Stewart's young bloke's debut on Jed.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jed.
37 years after Ricky debuted in the green.
Geez, it must be a proud moment being a dad to be able to, give your son a debut.
For sure. And I think, especially playing under you in the green machine, it'll be all eyes on that. And I think I'm gonna back the Raiders based off that.
Nice.
I think the Raiders they're just playing good footy.
Yeah, their back five is sensational.
Yep. Saturday, we're back to 3 games on a Saturday. Thank goodness.
Hallelujah.
I know. Let's go Warriors and the Panthers.
Oh, I think Warriors win this one. I don't know if Panthers players back up because they've got to fly back to Sydney, then Sydney to New Zealand, or do they do that direct flight?
It's a long way.
It'll be 8 hours if they do the long flight.
We're talking if they do the red eye,
Yeah.
they'll land back, then they've got to do that flight to New Zealand.
But it also depends. Do they... Because the last couple of years, they've had so many runs on the board with the points. They've always been up the top.
Yeah.
They don't have that. They're 1 point out of the 8.
Yeah. At one point this weekend, they were 7th.
Yes.
So, whether
they don't have that luxury anymore.
They've got such good depth anyway.
100%, brother.
I would say it's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Warriors.
Yeah.
Metcalf.
Oh, our man
arguably
Metcalf.
becoming one of my favourite players, man. And he just something about him.
We should try to get him on the potty one day.
We should. I saw he was on Sean Johnson's potty and just
Sean Johnson. I love Sean. He's a legend.
He's just got good. He just seems to have good chemistry.
He's a good-looking rooster. He's got good chat.
Let's get him on for sure.
Let's get him on,
Let's get him on. So I'm going to go the Warriors with that one. Dolphins and the Knights.
Dolphins by plenty.
Dolphins by a country mile.
Yep.
I'm going to say if they play anything like they have the last 3 weeks,
they could get another 50-plus here.
The amount of points they've scored in 3 weeks is unbelievable.
But the Knights do defend well, so they might score 40 this week.
But it's up there. Ponga, does he back up? Probably. He didn't last time.
Oh, yeah. Adam O'Brien didn't let him.
We'll see how it goes on Wednesday. I'm going to go with the Dolphins as well. Souths and Storm.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to go Storm.
How long has it been since the Storm have played?
It feels like a while. It feels like a very long time.
I forgot they existed.
Yeah, they did. But, look, I think they beat Souths, and I think they beat them comfortably too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that one. Broncos and the Sharks.
Oh, this is arguably the game of the round. Just depends on which players back up. Geez, we've seen Reece Lightning the week before the bye, and he was on fire. It's up at Suncorp as well on a Sunday afternoon. The Broncos, they struggled during the daytime. That was when they got beat by the Dragons recently.
Oh, yeah.
This is Can you get that coin?
I know.
I'm going to go Broncos heads.
Okay, I'm going to go the Sharks because I think if the Sharks can take what they had last week into that
second half was it?
They'll beat anyone.
Phenomenal.
They'll beat anyone.
Yep.
Yeah. Roosters, Cowboys.
I reckon I'm going to go for an upset. Cowboys.
For Tate's sake, yeah, I'm going to go the Cowboys
because
as well.
there's nothing worse than getting beat by 50. Having to put up with Coach Todd Payton all week, the video session would have been a nightmare, and you're getting all your Origin players back.
They'll get all the Origin players direct from Perth to Sydney, you'd think.
100%.
And straight into camp, no hiccups, hopefully no injuries for them, into the Roosters. But you just never know. You never know with the Roosters. I feel like, they sort of pull a rabbit out of the hat here. And they're sitting in the 8 now.
They're just cruising along.
They're just coming out of nowhere. A bit of a shame for Sam Walker, obviously another 4 weeks, but the anticipation of, I think he didn't know when he was going to play with the knee. Now it's like, okay, well, I know I'm going to be back.
100%.
I'm ready to go.
I'm happy that he's back too. You want to see the best players in the game playing.
He's unbelievable.
Geez, he'll add to that Roosters side. Wow.
He throws that Harbour Bridge ball a few times. Unbelievable. Man, unbelievable. And finally, on the Sunday, 3 games on a Sunday. I didn't even mention that, but Eels, Titans.
What a bludger to finish the weekend. Titans got a win finally on the weekend. It's been a while. No Mitchell Moses, no Dylan Brown. I'm going to go with the Titans in this one.
Now, Dylan Brown suspended for accidentally walking into a referee.
Jesus Christ, come on, man.
Get real.
Oh.
Can they get oh my goodness.
It's a hard watch.
He was watching the ball. It's a kick in the dick.
It's rugby league, brother.
It's a kick
Come
in the dick.
on.
It's a kick in the dick.
And you got the bye. Can the Eagles do it?
I reckon the Eagles will just scrape in against the bye.
At least they're not going to be pulling their hair out this weekend.
I think they need to, the old turn it off and turn it back on trick.
I reckon they should all turn their phones off, get a couple of days away, and then get Seeves back in there and just go, boom, we're back into it, let's go.
What is doing?
Cherry Evans just needs to make a decision and then move forward.
Do you think, what else do you think they need?
I just think the decision, from that moment the decision comes, it's been downhill. They started off well.
They were outstanding against Brisbane.
Yep.
But were Brisbane just really bad?
Well, you look at the sides as well. Like, they've lost to Parramatta, they've lost to the Titans, and they've lost to Newcastle in the last month of footy. You're looking at that on the radar earlier in the year, going, there's 6 points. There's 6 points. There's a win, and they're top 4.
Yeah.
So it just shows you that this competition's so close. Anyone can win on their day. You need to be on.
Yeah. All right, before we wrap up, let's just all right, what are we predicting the score to be Wednesday night?
20-12 New South Wales.
You said a close one. I'm going to go 30-10 New South Wales.
Oh, God. I just want a New South Wales win.
You kind of need it.
Oh, yeah, bro. Otherwise, I could be just MIA.
Yeah, we'll be like, where's Woodsy going? Oh, okay. Look, if they do win, that means that we get to have a decider here.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse. Well, there is worse things, but it's not great having a New South Wales, Queensland dead rubber at the end.
I think it's sensational.
You want a clean
Nothing
sweep?
better. You go to game 3, know you've already won the series. How bloody good. Go watch the boys.
I do love the
Shield.
competition, though. But I do want us to win. I'm
wanna
so
win.
torn. I'm
just wanna
so
win.
torn. Let's wrap it up, hey? Let's wish Renee all the best on her recovery. Thank you for joining us on this special Origin show. Woodsy.
Mate, you were outstanding.
Thank you.
You were so good.
Tried my best.
You did really good.
I'm on debut, hence the...
Stop it. Stop it. I'm filthy. There's no head tape.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks to American Aces and PointsBet. Thank you.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.